All right, so time for our Percy Jackson read aloud. So last time when we were reading, Percy was playing a game of capture the flag with Annabeth and all the Aries kids, and he heard this low growling sound, and he was just getting ready to basically fight with Clarice and her friends. So that was where we left off, kind of a cliffhanger. So here we go. I'll read for 5 minutes and hope you enjoy this nice little read aloud. It's a great book. So, cream the punk, Clarice screamed. Her ugly pig eyes glared through the slits of her helmet. She brandished a 5-foot long spear, its barbed metal tip flickering with red light. Her siblings had only the standard issue bronze swords, not that that made me feel any better. They charged across the stream. There was no help in sight. I could run, or I could defend myself against half the Ares cabin. I managed to sidestep the first kid's swing, but these guys were not as stupid as the Minotaur. They surrounded me, and Clarice thrust at me with her spear. My shield deflected the point, but I felt a painful tingling all over my body. My hair stood on end. My shield arm went numb, and the air burned. Electricity. Her stupid spear was electric. I fell back. Another Ares guy slammed me in the chest with the butt of his sword, and I hit the dirt. They could have kicked me into jelly, but they were too busy laughing. Give him a haircut, Clarice said. Grab his hair. I managed to get to my feet. I raised my sword, but Clarice slammed it aside with her spear as sparks flew. Now both my arms felt numb. Oh, wow, Clarice said. I'm scared of this guy. Really scared. The flag is that way, I told her. I wanted to sound angry, but I was afraid it didn't come out that way. Yeah, one of her siblings said. But see, we don't care about the flag. We care about a guy who made our cabin look stupid. You do that without my help, I told them. It probably wasn't the smartest thing to say. Two of them came at me. I backed up toward the creek, tried to raise my shield, but Clarice was too fast. Her spear struck me straight into the ribs. If it hadn't been wearing an armored breastplate, I would have been shish kebabbed. As it was, the electric point just about shocked my teeth out of my mouth. One of her cabin mates slashed a sword across my arm, leaving a good-sized cut. Seeing my own blood made me dizzy, warm, and cold at the same time. No maiming, I managed to say. Oops, the guy said. Guess I lost my dessert privilege. He pushed me into the creek and I landed with a splash. They all laughed. I figured as soon as they were through being amused, I would die. But then something happened. The water seemed to wake up my senses, as if it just had a bag of my mom's double espresso jelly beans. Clarice and her cabin mates came into the creek to get me, but I stood to meet them. I knew what to do. I swung the flat of my sword against the first guy's head and knocked his helmet clean off. I hit him so hard I could see his eyes vibrating as he crumpled into the water. Ugly number 2 and ugly number 3 came at me. I slammed one in the face with my shield and used my sword to shear off the other guy's horsehair plume. Both of them backed up quick. Ugly number 4 didn't look really anxious to attack, but Clarice kept coming, the point of her spear crackling with energy. As soon as she thrust, I caught the shaft between the edge of my shield and my sword, and I snapped it like a twig. Ah, she screamed, you idiot, you corpse-breath worm. She probably would have said worse, but I smacked her between the eyes with my sword butt and sent her stumbling backward out of the creek. Then I heard yelling, elated screams, and I saw Luke racing toward the boundary line with the red team's banner lifted high. He was flanked by a couple of Hermes guys covering his retreat and a few Apollos behind them fighting off Hephaestus's kids. The Ares folks got up and Clarice muttered a dazed curse. A trick, she shouted. It was a trick. They staggered after Luke, but it was too late. Everybody converged on the creek as Luke ran across the friendly territory. Our side exploded into cheers. The red banner shimmered and turned to silver. The boar and spear was replaced by a huge caduceus, the symbol of Cabin 11. Everybody on the blue team picked up Luke and started carrying him on their shoulders. Chiron clattered out of the woods and blew the conch horn. The game was over. We'd won. I was about to join the celebration when Annabeth's voice was right next to me, and the creek said, Not bad, hero. I looked, but she wasn't there. Where the heck did she learn to fight like that, she asked. The air shimmered, and she materialized, holding a Yankees baseball cap as if she'd just taken it off her head. Felt myself getting angry. I wasn't even fazed by the fact that she'd just been invisible. You set me up, I said. You put me here because you knew Clarice would come after me while you sent Luke around the flank. You had it all figured out. Annabeth shrugged. I told you, Athena always has a plan. Plan to get me pulverized? I came as fast as I could. I was about to jump in, but she shrugged. You didn't need my help. Then she nosed my wounded arm. How did you do that? Sword cut. What do you think? No, it was a sword cut. Look at it. The blood was gone. Where the huge cut had been, there was a long white scratch, and even that was fading. As I watched, it turned into a small scar and disappeared. Huh, so Percy has healing powers. I don't get it, I said. Annabeth was thinking hard. I could almost see the gears turning. She looked down at my feet, then at Clarice's broken spirit and said, "Step out of the water, Percy." "What?" "Just do it." I came out of the creek and immediately felt bone tired. My arm started to go numb again. My adrenaline rush left me. I almost fell over, but Annabeth studied me. All right. It seems like Percy has a special power with the water. That's what I'm thinking. So that's our read aloud for today. Hope you enjoyed.